Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
Like us on Instagram if you've heard of Mr. Ed. And state your age. Just anyone know Mr. Ed?
That ties back to the pre-show gold.
Yeah. I'd like to see the making. Was there one horse? I wonder if there were multiple horses.
There was multiple horses.
Was there?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think you'd actually like to...
I remember seeing the news article where the last one died, and that was quite a while ago.
I don't think you'd like to see the making of, because I think that you might be a little upset with some of the things they did to those horses.
I wonder back then, probably. That's sad. Interesting. Anyway, for those who have no idea what we're talking about, that's a talking horse from a black and white TV show.
That's what
Google's
for.
And for those who don't know what we're talking about, black and white is what TV used to be before it's color, which it is now.
Yes.
Speaking of,
it's like picture a coloring book before you started coloring, and that's black and white TV.
Kind of, yeah. I watched episode 4 of Lost in Space this weekend. In glorious black and white. It's the episode with the giant Cyclops.
Isn't that like the first bunch have that Cyclops? That first episode is like
it was at the end of the first. It was at the end of 3, right, Barry? That you first saw him, and then it carried over.
I don't think so. I think he shows up in 4.
So isn't there a cliffhanger with the Cyclops though?
I mean, it's possible these things have been re-edited the way they're broadcasting them now. But the one that I saw, the cliffhanger was that they were trapped. The chariot died, and they were trapped, and they finally get and the robot was attacking Will. That was kind of the cliffhanger there. And then in the middle of that episode, they went back to get the chariot, and that's when they saw the robot. Yeah. I mean, that's where they saw the Cyclops, and Will miraculously fixed the telescopic viewer in the Jupiter 2 and saw the Cyclops going after his father and the other guy,
Don,
thank you. And he ran in there with the laser pistol and shot the Cyclops.
Right. Yep.
Wow, I haven't seen those in a long time.
And then later in the episode, they were trying to. It was the temperature was going to drop to 160 below zero, so they had to leave the Jupiter 2, and then the Cyclops went after them again.
Okay, that's what. So, I rewatched
in the description
those 3 or 4 years ago.
In the description, they called him a giant hair monster, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh, really? That's so funny.
Yeah. I do remember those.
Call it 10 episodes were really good, and then it kind of went downhill.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like they used the whole budget in those first 10 episodes because, the game was way up there, and then all of a sudden they just kind of stand around. And it was kind of like, oh, okay, let's go out, explore, find something, do something stupid with it. Then Dr. Smith finds out about it. He tries to profit off it somehow, and then, that's the episode.
What made it camp? Do you think Batman made it campy? Was right around the same time? Was the popularity of Batman that was just sort of goofy and everything made them go in that direction?
I don't know, but if you watch those first few episodes, I mean, Smith is a sociopath. Okay.
Oh yeah, he was trying to kill them,
and then he just becomes this kind of sniveling coward, and the transformation is very interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is very startling how much it changed and how quickly it changed.
I mean, he programs the robot to kill the family. So
yeah,
it's I actually think.
Anyway, watch Lost in Space if you haven't.
Even the effects that they did, as primitive as they were. When they were superimposing the giant Cyclops with them in the foreground, it actually looked pretty good. I mean, I was a little surprised how good it looked because I hadn't seen that in a long time either. But it was on MeTV, so I watched it and I was like, "Wow, this actually doesn't look half as bad as I would have thought it did."
Yeah,
but Lost in Space is on at 1 a.m, isn't it? Or is it after Star Trek and Buck Rogers?
Well, no. So on a Saturday night, it's Buck Rogers, then Kolchak the Night Stalker, then Lost in Space, and then Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. So I had been watching Kolchak. I knew that it was the Cyclops episode of Lost in Space, so I recorded it on the DVR.
Oh, okay.
And then I watched it Sunday morning.
Oh, jeez. That's funny.
So that was how that happened.
I think I have them all on DVD. I wonder, are they on Paramount Plus?
I don't know.
I haven't looked.
So Barry, if you were to watch that, in because again they were shot in very low res. If you were to watch it today in high def, it would actually look a whole lot like this.
What was amazing too is the Chariot is such a cool vehicle.
It is amazingly cool. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was you've got Todd's got a teddy bear and a toy chariot. He's doing hand puppets for us.
Teddy bear. Darwin's we call this victim bear. Okay, he's been sewn back up about 5 times. He's one of Darwin's favorite toys, and it's.
Yeah, I'm curious where. I don't know. Anyway, that's Lost in Space talk for today. Let's go some random. Barry, what do you got?
I don't have anything. Todd, what do you got?
Okay.
Now, I came 1,000% unprepared for tonight's show.
I thought you'd have some random, but that's fine. I have a couple.
That's why I went right to Lost in Space.
I got a couple.
Todd, what do you got?
So, Robert Downey Jr.'s next project is going to be an adaptation of Robert Westlake's Parker novels. And the first one will be Parker. This is something that has been made like 5 times, but never well. And are you guys familiar with this at all?
I know the name, but
so
who was
a very badass ex-con who gets out and goes after the people that that basically double-crossed him and sent him to jail. And they've done it a bunch of times. I mean, Jason Statham did it in 2013. Mel Gibson did it in 1999. Robert Duvall in 1973.
And they were called Parker every time?
No. But the character, it's all Lee Marvin, 1967, Jim Brown in 1968. Okay. So they just basically adapt this same story with, crediting Donald Westlake. But like I said, it's just never been good. There's actually a comic adaptation of it from like last decade sometime that was really, really good, which was very true to the book. But I think in every effort they tried to change the character a little bit. I'm really interested to see this because it's going to be very different for him. I mean, this guy's a ruthless SOB. And if you've gotten his bad side, and again, these are mostly criminals, but he takes out a bunch of people. And then there's a follow-up where he puts a crew together and does a heist. It's kind of like he's kind of the archetypical, like 60s, early 60s criminal. And I actually was going to say, they haven't said yet, I'd love it if they did this period. I think that would be really cool. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So, Dave, what do you got?
I got a couple quickies. So one of the podcasts we like, Stuff Dreams Are Made Of, is coming back for season 3. I just saw that.
I saw that. Yeah, not with Rooster Teeth. So I guess they're
Rooster Teeth seems like a pain in the ass.
Doing it on their own. So
which is easy, as we prove every week.
We've been proving it for 8 years. You don't need a producer to do it. You don't need a company
to do this for you. I got a couple of things. Todd, do you have anything else? I just got some quickies.
Read an interesting article this week that said that Oscar Isaac on Moon Knight is actually very much a collaborator, and that he
I saw that.
Only signed on because they gave him some degree of input, and they knew they wanted to adapt the character, but they knew they wanted to go with somebody higher profile, and again, sounds really interesting.
He's
really
moon-knighting it up on his shirt.
We're not that many weeks away at this point, right?
Not that many weeks away. And
well, we're about 5.
Yeah.
Right?
So I am psyched for this. So we shall see. But anyways, they're kind of dribbling out PR things like this every couple of weeks and trying to build up interest. But I'm interested. Let's see it. So, Dave, what else you
got? John Williams is going to do the theme for Kenobi.
Yes.
I just read, which is interesting.
Is it just the theme? I know that I read that he was writing music for it, but I didn't know how much.
I read theme, but I didn't really dig too much further into it.
I didn't need anything else to get me excited about Kenobi, but that makes me more excited.
I have a Kenobi thing for later too. That's just stupid, but not it being stupid, but just sort of randomly random.
So, Tales of the Walking Dead. Don't understand why it exists. But they keep casting people. Olivia Munn is now in it.
Olivia Munn, I saw that. Why would she do that?
But again, this is an anthology thing, so this may be like
she just had a kid,
one and done. Okay, but there's a whole lot of people in this, and Parker Posey's in this, and Anthony Edwards, and Terry Crews. There's a whole lot of people in this. It's going to be really interesting. I will not watch it, but I wonder if this is what they should. In fact, I think we talked about this. If you go back hundreds of episodes, I think we said at one point that doing a anthology thing with a rotating cast might be better than doing Fear of the Walking Dead, where it's again parallel storyline with just a different group of people, but seeing different people's perspective on things falling apart and whatever. And maybe they finally got around to doing that because they've told the same freaking story over and over again. For a gajillion years.
Is everyone not over zombies? I mean, like, I'm glad we bailed when we bailed.
I thought that was the case a long time ago, and I gotta say, it's. Do people still watch the shows at all?
My wife does, which is shocking.
She's still watches The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And what season is it on?
11, I think.
Isn't this the last one, though?
I think it's ending. I think that they broke the finale into the final season into 3 parts. I think that part 2 just started. Because I just noticed it was on my DVR. I guess it ran last night. So.
I saw everything. I went later than you guys did. I saw everything up until Rick didn't really die. And then I stopped. But, yeah.
Okay.
The list of shows we've given up on is starting to get longer than the list of shows we're watching.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I seem to pick up new things all the time.
I think I feel like I'm not watching near. It was a slog to watch everything I had to watch. I'm not watching anything anymore.
I picked up a few new things.
I picked up a few new things, but they're more modern. I don't think there's a single thing I watch on broadcast television with 20 episodes.
I can't think of one either. I was thinking about that the other day. Dave, do you have anything else?
Just a quickie, and I don't know if we mentioned this, but I don't know. They're making a TV series. Disney Plus is making a TV series, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Maybe we did mention Nautilus. And the dude from Star Trek, Ash, the Shazad Latif, is playing Nemo. Which
interesting.
It's interesting. They're filming now. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That could be really fun.
Yeah.
Depending on what audience and what age group they target it at. I mean, if it's going to be an action-adventure thing, that could be fun.
Yeah.
I am going to do this next one without spoilers. Okay.
Oh boy.
And I will use the words that are used in the headlines referring to this, but in the final episode of Peacemaker, there are cameos by other DC heroes. And very interestingly, a Marvel crew making Guardians 3 actually shot that scene because the availability of the actors came up afterwards, and he had already moved on to filming Guardians 3, and Marvel agreed to shoot that for him because he'd done some reciprocal test shooting while he was filming Peacemaker. So that's weird. But yeah. Now, as a kind of, and we might get more into this later, but Barry and I both powered through Peacemaker in the last week, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Finished it last night.
Okay, so just fucking watch this. Just stop thinking whatever you might be thinking. Stop thinking about what it is and why you don't want to watch it and why you don't care.
You're talking to me because I don't want to watch it.
And just watch it. Okay?
You're missing out, Dave.
It's
awesome.
I just don't like this character at all.
No business.
You know what? You might like him after you watch this because they really. What's amazing? I guess we can spend a minute on this now. It's James Gunn.
It is.
I mean, that character doesn't work.
You said you don't have to say another word. It is.
James Gunn. Yeah, but I didn't love that movie either. I'm sorry. I know people liked it. I didn't really love it.
But what he's done in this series is what he did in the first Guardians movie.
I like this better than the movie.
Oh, me too. And what he did here with this character is what he did with the Guardians. He took a character either that you didn't like or you didn't know anything about, and gave him so much backstory, so much like depth. Which hard to believe I'm saying that character has depth, but he does.
Interesting. Well, then let's not talk about it. I'll try to get through it in a week or so.
He took two flat, uninteresting E-level DC characters. Okay, they're not even D-level; they are E-level DC characters, and it actually made them interesting. And it's. I loved it. I had to slow myself down because I was going through episode after episode.
How many episodes are there?
It's only 8 episodes.
It's only 8 episodes.
All right, I'll give it a try. On your recommendations and what Barry said about that character, which I really don't like it, but okay, if there's more to it, then
here's
fine.
the thing, Dave. He's still a douchebag. Okay.
Yeah,
Unapologetically
a douchebag. But it's like you understand that better. And the fact that they own it in the way that they do, honestly, I'll tell you what my thing was. I was like, they're trying to be Deadpool. Okay, everything I saw about this is like they're trying to be Deadpool. No, they're not. They're.
Oh, it's got so much more heart than Deadpool.
But it's just a different thing altogether. And while we're on this, I want to give congratulations to James Gunn and Jennifer Holland, who just apparently got engaged.
Yeah, they just got engaged.
So.
What was he waiting for?
Waiting to see what the reviews were for Peacemaker.
Yeah.
So.
And that's another character that not that character got a lot of screen time in the Suicide Squad, but another character. I mean, everybody in this, it's an ensemble, and everybody in it, like, you end up getting a lot of backstory on a lot of character development, a lot of depth. I mean, I was very pleasantly surprised. My son Josh really wanted to watch it, and so I said, "All right, I'll watch an episode." I will say this, Dave, and I don't know how Pam will feel about it. Maria did not like it. Maria bailed after the second episode.
Pam doesn't like a lot of stuff, so I'll watch it without her.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting, and if Maria's listening, she would have a hard time denying this. She bailed after the second episode, but last night we watched the last 3 episodes, and she was kind of in the room, and by the end of it, she was sitting down watching it. So
really?
I think she enjoyed the way it ended.
In the right mood for this. I would say that
there's a lot of foul language and there's a lot of overt, over-the-top violence and some weird nudity in the first episode or two. I think that's kind of what turned her off. But after that,
weird nudity.
I
was flipping through the channels the other day, and the Suicide Squad movie was on. So I'm just, I love to see the rat, so I wanted to see which. And as soon as it's this dude, full frontal male nudity, I'm like, okay.
You know why I say weird nudity, Dave? Because John Cena is like doesn't even seem human, and you see him having sex with a girl, and there's a lot of nudity in that scene, and it's just like he doesn't seem human. So like his body proportions just aren't.
He might as well be
look like a cartoon character.
But it's the like I said, there's so much in this that's good, and yeah, I just like I said, it's hard not to spoil, so I'm not going to say anything else about it.
Yeah, well, if you can power through this, Dave, we should talk about it because whether you end up liking it or not, I think that there's some stuff to talk about here.
And occasionally we're talking to the listeners as well. They should watch it too, because again, if you have preconceptions about this, just give this a try. If the opening title sequence does nothing for you.
Well, and what's interesting is, so you know how on streaming services you watch the opening title sequence and then it gives you the option to skip it.
I'm waiting to hear this.
I had been skipping it.
I didn't either.
Well, no, I was skipping it, and I skipped it for a couple of episodes, but because in the first episode you don't even know who any of these people are, other than John Cena's character, Peacemaker. But by the 6th episode, I'm like, I want to watch this again. And then you have a whole new respect for that opening sequence because now you know all the characters.
I will spoil this. There's kind of like a dance party scene, but there's characters in this who have like 2 lines in the whole thing who are just completely throwaway characters, and they get featured in this thing.
Well, and I listened to an interview with James Gunn, and basically it was like, why did you do that? And he's like, because I could. He's like, because I had a budget and I could. And it's a dance number, Dave. Basically, the opening title sequence is a dance number.
It's brilliant, and it's just so off the wall, and yeah, There's also some funny videos online with them. I mean, they put a hell of a lot of time into choreographing that and training it. And I watched extensively the part with Jennifer Holland, but it's cool.
It doesn't disappoint, and
no, it doesn't.
You know who doesn't disappoint?
Oh, Dave wants us to move on.
No,
Fanboy
I don't.
Collectibles.
I was just looking for the right word.
Fanboy
You can
Collectibles.
keep going.
No, it's okay. Watch Peacemaker, Dave, and everybody else, and then we'll talk about it next week.
Okay. So Fanboy Collectibles does, and I wasn't looking to stop you guys. I promised myself after last time I'm going to find the right word and just jump in. Fanboy Collectibles, check them out. Hot Toys Back to the Future DeLorean up for pre-sale. Barry's smirking. Why did you order it?
We'll talk.
Okay, fine. There's a bunch of Gentle Giant Mandalorian stuff. There's all kinds of Hot Toys and Pops and Sideshow and Kotobukias and everything you need. Check those guys out. FanboyCollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the Regular Joe sent you.
There's a premium format Cara Dune figure, which may be the
Talk
only
about
Cara
now that we're
Dune
out of the ad, because I was just gonna say, Dave, we don't have a problem getting the ad in. We have a problem getting out of the ad.
Yeah.
So
Well, I was just going to
Go
say
ahead.
this Cara Dune statue may be the only the last Cara Dune, collectible ever produced.
yeah, but
so
this is
Yeah.
late for licensing approval on that. I'm actually
no, I
surprised.
think that they solicited this like 2 years ago. I think it just took this long to get it produced.
Oh, it's
Is
in
it in stock?
Okay,
Is that-
got
it's
it.
in
It's
I-
in
stock,
stock. Yeah.
No, I was thinking
I
that was
bet
just
that
new.
will go. So if you want that one, still, I'll jump back into the commercial, grab it, because they won't last.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the last Cara Dune thing we're ever going to see.
Probably.
Would be my guess.
Probably. Okie dokie.
Cool looking statue though. I like the stormtrooper helmet.
Yeah.
What are we doing now? Oh,
Let's talk about Peacemaker. Kidding.
Okay,
No.
so really, let's segue to the show that Barry and I both watched. So
I had a question. Unless Todd, you had a question.
no, I was just going to say, you mentioned earlier about watching some different stuff. Is there anything that you're watching, and this will be quick, anything that either of you guys are watching we have never mentioned before?
Never mentioned.
We've never
I
mentioned
have
on the show.
something.
Yeah, I've got one
Not
too.
that it's anything great. I'm watching that Kristen Bell.
Yeah, I was
the
just going
woman
to say,
across
I
the
watched
street
that.
from the window with
The
the
woman
girl.
in the house across the street from the girl in the window.
Yep.
I have 2 episodes left, and I still don't know what the hell's going on.
I've heard
Have you watched the whole thing?
I did watch the whole thing.
Okay, then don't say anything. But
I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Okay, what's going
It's
on?
okay.
What's
I mean,
going
it's
on
nothing
is it's
special.
Kristen Bell.
And she's in underwear too, if you
Okay,
need to say.
So
She's good in it, by the way.
She's
I
good
mean,
in
she is good.
You know, it's really not comedy. It's more
Yeah.
drama or whatever. But
Yeah, it's a little out there.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Reacher at all? I know we talked about it,
I
but I
have
finished
not,
Reacher.
no.
Reacher's totally worth watching.
is it, yeah. So you're pleased with it because you've read the books
Yeah.
and stuff.
I had read the books years ago.
Okay.
But
and would you
yeah, it's
say
good.
that he is obviously the best cast Jack Reacher thus far?
he's absolutely the best cast Jack Reacher so far.
Would you say he makes
Tom
other
Cruise
Jack
is still better.
Other Jack Reachers look grossly inferior and perhaps short.
and maybe small by comparison.
I like
Thank you,
Alan.
Barry. Small in
We
comparison.
met him. I think he's good in this. I hope he doesn't know where I live, so he comes and punches me in the face. But I mean, Tom Cruise has got so much more charisma and acting ability than this dude. But he's the right guy.
But that doesn't get you anywhere in a fight. So okay, this guy's I got his autograph. He's an impressive dude. So
Yeah.
So I called him out on name shaming me in the series, but it's in Titans. But I watched. I'm 4 of 6 episodes into Midnight Mass, and which is something on Netflix that dropped just recently. It's actually got a lot of good buzz attached to it. It's very creepy, but very well done. There's more dialogue in this thing than anything I've seen in a long time, but there are some incredible scenes. And it's really hard to say anything about. In fact, I would suggest if you are interested in that kind of stuff, creepy stuff, it's very kind of Stephen Kingish. I would say it probably is Stephen Kingish. just start it. Don't read anything about it and just dive in and start watching it. It's you don't always know what's going on, but they do it well. And I may or may not be happy with how it resolves, but yeah, it's one of the better written things. Some of the best dialogue that I've seen in a show in a really long time. So, a bunch of people on an island. They have a lot of time to talk. So, it's good. It's good. Bunch of people
Todd,
in it.
go ahead.
I was going to say, including Henry Thomas, who I can't look at as anything other than the kid from E.T. So, but
That was 40 years ago.
still, and he's playing a guy in his 50s. So, yeah,
It's brutal.
Todd, you made
Barry,
it all the way through season 1 of Raised by Wolves, right?
I did.
Have you started season 2 yet?
I'm going to. I have not yet.
I am 4 episodes in. I think that's all that they've released so far. If ever a show needed a previously on segment at the beginning, this was it, and it didn't have one.
Really?
I was like, they just drop you into season 2, and I'm like, wait a minute, where did this leave off?
This holds true to form, Barry, because even when you watched every minute of every episode, you never knew what the fuck was going on anyway.
I know, but I at least would have liked something to help me remember where it left off.
I do understand.
I didn't necessarily remember.
do that.
Are you enjoying it?
You know, as much as I enjoyed this show ever, like
Okay.
it's one of those
that's a
shows
no.
that you watch and you go, huh. But yet I keep going back to it. So, I mean, I watched all 4 episodes this weekend. I mean, I watched a lot of TV this weekend.
Me too.
Jeez, it sounds like you did.
But it was, you know, it's so well done is what it is. You know, it's really well done. It's just the story is out there. And there's so many religious overtones to it, and I'm so not a religious person, so like some of that gets kind of lost on me. But
I would say that's the other thing with Midnight Mass, but I guess that's a dead giveaway from the title. There are very religious overtones to it, but yeah. I also finished the second season of Be Foreigners, which is something that Sean suggested, and it was very good, and it pivoted in a way I never expected, and it ended, I don't say quite in a cliffhanger, but with a revelation that drastically changes everything. And so I really hope there is a season 3 of that. And I suggest checking that out when you guys work your way down your list, because it's good. It's good. So
I feel like I'm not watching a lot, but I don't. Well, I'm going through every season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's taken I watch a lot of YouTube too. I have like at least a dozen people that I follow on YouTube.
yeah, I've been watching more and more YouTube, but I
Maker stuff.
tend to do that sort of like end of the night. I don't really watch TV in bed at all, but I tend to watch YouTube in bed, like winding down the day. I've been continuing to watch Snowpiercer season 3.
Oh my god, you're brutalizing yourself.
I'm like the new Todd
I was
watching.
going to say, Barry, that sounds like something I would do. That would be, and I got to say, I've never caved and watched this season of The Flash. I will finish Supergirl.
Oh.
I will finish it. I'm going to do it. But yeah, I never quit anything, and it's now you're picking up that mantle for me. Thank you.
Do you remember that season of Flash where, and I don't remember the character names, but there was a husband and wife, and he was like in a floaty chair, and he was
Brainwave. Yep.
Brainwave. His wife is in Raised by Wolves this season.
Oh,
the woman that played his wife in that show. Yeah, you know, it's funny. They said Jennifer Connelly was coming back to Snowpiercer, and spoiler alert, I'm saying it far in advance, so I apologize if I spoil last season for anybody. But so Jennifer Connelly's character is presumably dead. They left her. She got off the train and she never came back. And they said she was back this season, and I think she's back in people's
But she's
like
frozen.
No, it seems like she's actually like there as a conscience. Like she's not really there, but people are like hearing her talk and seeing her, and so it's not like she's not really her character. I think is dead.
So she's like
whatever.
Dexter's dead father.
She's just like Dexter's dead father or sister, as the
Yeah,
case may be.
that was technically a spoiler, Barry.
Whatever. That season's been over for a couple months too.
I know. I'm just saying.
Sorry,
you know what I
Daryl.
watched, and I don't know if we're going to finish it, this Netflix show, In From the Cold. Did you see that?
Okay.
No.
So you did watch this. So
I haven't watched all of it.
How much have
Maybe
you watched?
4 episodes,
Okay.
3 or 4.
I'm 3 in. The first episode is abysmal. Okay, it's so schlocky.
It's the whole thing is not great.
Okay, but I'm saying it gets slightly better. Okay, it gets slightly better, but the first episode is just like, oh, let's explain every possible thing, and it's.
And here I am. I completely changed the way I look, and you hardly make mention of it.
And
I mean,
nobody
it's
makes mention of it, and it's.
So basically, I'll give you the premise if for those of you who haven't heard. So it's this housewife, single mother, divorced housewife, or is her husband dead? I don't remember, one or the other. Here's the weird thing. So she's got a 16-year-old daughter. I don't know how old she is, and we'll get into that in a second. But basically, she's like Kerry Russell's character from The Americans. She was a Russian agent.
This is Black Widow. This is Black Widow who quits instead of joining S.H.I.E.L.D. She quits being Black Widow and she becomes a suburban housewife.
Yeah, and then someone comes supposedly from the CIA and knows who she is and reactivates her. Fine. And then it goes on from there. But when she's in Russia, there's some flashbacks, and this isn't really any spoilers. She's 20?
Yeah.
Maybe? 18? Let's even call her 18.
Supposed to be like 18 years old, yeah.
It was 1994. My calculations, that's 22 and 6, 28 years ago. And wait, was it 94? It was earlier than that. I think it was 92. She's supposed to be like in her almost 50, according to that, and she's not.
Okay,
50.
Dave, spoiler here. She has a superpower. Okay?
Oh.
This woman should never look older than like 38. Okay?
I got you.
So that's I
Anyway,
did the same math, and I was like, is she just like rocking the power a little bit so she doesn't look like she's 52 years old?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if I'm going to finish
Okay.
it, but it's
is the 1992 version crazy hot or what? Something about her. I think she's
She's a little young for me. I like the older woman.
Yeah, so I do too. But I'm saying the younger woman I think she reminds me of every woman from the 80s that I was interested in. So
She reminds me of Nana from 92 Luftballons.
oh, absolutely.
No, she doesn't. I don't know.
She totally does. She's got that. It's the bad accent thing.
Anyway, it's nothing. I don't know where I came across it, but
I don't know either. But it was suggested on my. You know what it is? It was suggested on mine, so I don't know what I watched.
it was in the top 10 on Netflix when it came out. But
She's been in a bunch of different things. The lead actress, she was in Revenge for like half the series or most of the series, and a few other things. And I did not recognize her until I looked her up.
yeah,
But
I didn't either.
yeah,
I'm kind of curious to see where it goes, but it's
boy, the CIA guy cannot act to save his life. He is just the most wooden.
The whole thing is it's very thin. The whole thing is thin.
It's like he and the tech guy are such like archetypes that they just, I don't know what you've seen that I haven't, but like neither of them has an ounce of personality other than what they do. And then they put the two of them in a scene together and they're trying to play off each other. And it's like, you guys are just cardboard. There's really nothing going on. Unless the woman's in the scene
shame
with you,
is
it doesn't.
the idea is good.
It doesn't work.
Like people in the CIA reactivating a Russian super spy
Without
from the
actually
90s
knowing what her
could
powers
be
are.
cool.
And then
Yeah.
just kind of letting her
we
go
don't
about her
need
life when she's not
the
working. for them.
superpowers are stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Anyway, sorry.
I was going to ask, are either of you up to date and keeping up with Resident Alien? Or are you banking it to watch later?
I watch it every
I may
week.
be one behind, but I'm either there or one behind.
Yeah. No, I watch it every week.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it too. I still love that show. I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's
good.
still solid. I really like how it's. I mean, other than him, I mean, and he's just so out there and crazy and awesome. But it's just like a bunch of like regular people. It seems like, you know what I mean, like very regular people.
One of my favorite.
They don't look like
things
TV people.
Yeah, one of my favorite things in the show,
Except for the mayor's wife.
is the
Yeah.
mayor's wife is crazy hot.
Oh my god!
But the relationship between him and the children.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. I will kill you. It's like, and
that little girl is not taking any of his
the
crap.
little girl just throws it right back at him. And
She's
just
like that scene in the last episode where they were outside the window of the diner and she's like pretending to stab him, like telling him what she's going to do to him.
Yep. And
it's great.
Yeah, I've been
That's
frightened
good.
by children before. I understand that. I got to say,
I
as
always
an
am.
alien, he should be frightened. So,
Does anyone anything else anyone's watching?
Are you guys keeping up with Discovery?
yeah,
I haven't
have
started
been.
it yet. I haven't
okay.
started it yet. I have
All
to
right.
check it out.
Did they make it through
Picard
this past
starts
week's
soon.
episode without a therapy reference?
Yeah, I think they did.
I might have to rewatch. I could have missed it. I could have missed it.
Yeah, maybe not. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Nope,
I think there
nope,
might have
I think
been
the doctor
something.
had the
the
doctor
doctor
at some
had
point
yeah.
did
When
some
they were
counseling.
on the ship on their way to the mission, the doctor did some counseling. Yes.
Who could have thought?
I
that
had a
this
discussion
was,
with
who could have thought this was right? So
Someone about Discovery the other day, yesterday, and I don't have any problems with it. And then I explained our problems with it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah."
They ruined it for him.
yeah. Oh yeah, that is a thing. That's a thing.
Yeah, so
Well, without obviously, if you haven't watched any of it yet, I'm not going to say anything or give it away. I will just say this last episode ended in a way that I was at least happy that something was somewhat unpredictable. But
Yeah, I will agree. Boy,
because I think up till this point, everything has been painfully predictable.
the scientist dude, okay, has he ever played a good guy? It's like I that actor in every single thing he's in. It's like he was in The Expanse, and he was like the traitorous president, and I think he just like is one of those people that just like always plays the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he's okay.
he is okay. Does a
everything
decent
about
job of it, but
Discovery
it's just like
is okay.
At some point, like, doesn't he feel like in Big Love, he was the weak brother that like caved. But yeah,
I'm starting to get, not that I'm trying to rush the year away, but I'm starting to get more excited because we've got Obi-Wan coming, we've got Strange New Worlds coming. There's like some stuff I'm really looking forward to, not that far in the future. So
I'm cautiously optimistic about Picard. We'll see. So
that's soon. Picard is
very
soon. What's that? Free Guy? Is that a show? Is that a movie?
it's a movie, yeah.
Yep.
That's on whatever it's on. It comes out this week.
I think it's
I
coming to
haven't-
Disney Plus, I think.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. There's a movie that sounds interesting, The Adam Project.
Yes, I did
With
see the trailer for that.
Our girl Jennifer Garner, and also Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
I think.
Ryan Reynolds. The trailer looks
then
really
there's-
good. I watched the trailer for that.
There's something, I don't think it comes out till summer, that the Russo brothers did called Gray Man. Sounds like some action kind of thing that looks good. I don't remember any details.
Killing Eve's coming back in a week or two also, and that's the final season.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I finished last season. I should get on that.
I did
don't know
finish
why.
last season, and
Yeah, it was good.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you know why? Because you can't get it. It's not anywhere. You need like AMC Plus.
It's on BBC. Well, it's on BBC America if you DVR'd it when it was on.
Well, okay, thanks. I don't think I did.
Well, then you should have.
But it's not accessible on a free.
Well, so let me put it this way:
If you
they
have
are going to be rerunning last season.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say.
schedule your DVR to record it now, and
I'll do
they're
that.
going to be rerunning those episodes before the new
that's
season.
why I stopped, because
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah,
I
'cause
can't
you
watch
can't
it.
watch it. Yeah.
But
Unless you
you
had
don't want to
a
pay for yet another
unless you had a
streaming
DeLorean time machine. Damn, this thing looks sweet.
service. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Troy knows if I ordered one.
Okie. Why don't we go what's in the box / show and tell, because I'm show and telling.
Okay.
Who's going first?
Who wants to go first? Todd, why don't you go first?
So this just in, okay. So new Captain Marvel figure,
Soccer Mom Captain Marvel.
That picture makes her hair look good.
and she actually does look good. She looks good. It's yeah.
You have the other one, and you got this
and I
one?
have this one, yeah. I want to have one
What's
flying
that
and
little
one standing.
skirt thing
And she will
she's
definitely be
wearing?
standing holding the gauntlet.
Yeah.
And but I think she looks good. She's very pissed off looking. And so
I mean, I'll be honest, and this is really more of a commentary on the actress and not the figure, but I'm just not. I never loved her with the short hair, so.
yeah, well, I love her no matter what, and in every possible way, no matter what.
I don't remember that little sash
Yeah,
that she
it's in there.
has. Did she wear that in the Endgame?
She wears that in there, and it's part of the. It's actually it's part of the costume that she wears in the comics too. Yeah, the sash is there. Interestingly, if you watch the DVD features, including the take a knee scene, okay, she's wearing the blue costume from Captain Marvel. So this costume is probably entirely CGI. So in all the excerpts, she's wearing that blue Captain Marvel costume with some other slight details on it, which I actually think are reference points. So she probably never wore this costume for real.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising. I mean, we know those white suits that from the end of Endgame, they didn't exist in the real world. So
right. Yeah, which makes perfect sense. But it's good. I will say, I thought the suit on the other one was tight. This is crazy tight, which is why I'm going to have her standing in exactly the pose I just showed you. She's going to be holding the gauntlet. That's it.
Yeah.
The other one I can put more of a flying pose. So, yeah.
Okay. To
Barry,
me,
what do you got?
obviously, if I can lift this thing, it's so goddamn heavy. I got the Princess Leia in detention block statue. It's 1/6 scale. It's heavy as hell.
It is 1/6 scale. Wow, it's a good bookend.
It's a great bookend, actually. Yeah, it's got a very totally flat side on one side. And it's funny, I was sending Todd pictures of it. Like, the angle, like that angle, I think looks the most like Carrie Fisher. I think some of the other angles, maybe the detail's a little soft in the face, but
I gotta
it's
say,
very
here,
well
Barry,
done.
it actually looks a little bit better. I think when you take the pictures, you get a little bit of fisheye effect. I think this looks a little.
Could
I think
be.
it's just great.
It's it's a very nice statue. It's really well done. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet or where I'm going to put it, but I had ordered this 2 years ago or whenever it came up for pre-order on an impulse. But it is very, very well done, and I really like that it's got this flooring from the detention block, and it's the angles on it and everything. It's a great statue. It's really, really freaking heavy. Apparently, they made 1,000 of these, so they're all numbered.
You can still get
this
one.
is number
and you know where.
562. Yeah, these are at Fanboy. I got this one from Troy. Good piece though, really nice piece.
I gotta get the measurement from you on that back panel because I actually think I have a spot I could put that. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I can measure it for you. Give you the dimensions.
That only reminds me of that DVD you gave us once.
Yeah, I do remember that DVD.
Yeah.
All right, so Dave, you're showing and telling. What
I'm
you got?
showing and telling. I don't have what's in the box, but my mother is moving. So this weekend I was helping she clear out her house. And I never lived in this house. She's been there like 20 years, so I know I always have found all my stuff, but there's almost nothing of mine still there because I've cleaned that. But I did find this. This is one of the first tools I ever
From that
had,
kit,
and
that
now
kid's
this
toolkit. That
Handy Andy.
Yep. Yep.
So this is officially the first tool I've ever owned. Really, I came with that kit. I must have got it when I was 5 or 6 years old, and I found it in a place. So I'm gonna hang this up in my workshop. So it's a tiny little kid's hammer, but if you don't know Handy Andy, in the 60s and 70s, they made kids' toolkits, but they were all real tools. This is a metal hammer. I remember I had a small kit, came in a metal case. There was a saw, like a real saw, but small.
I had that.
I have the pliers from that set,
Oh, do you really?
and
That's funny.
which are very breakable. But I actually have the pliers from that set. It's the only thing I still have, or I have.
'cause
It wasn't mine.
I've always remembered that every time I look at a hammer, I think of that blue hammer, and here I go. I found it. my dad took it, and he's been passed away many years, but he took it to fix in the old days when you had to change your tennis grip on your racket, there's a little nail at the end, and he took it to nail the little nail in the end. So it was in this box of stuff that he had. So I'm very happy to hang that in my workshop. My first tool.
That's cool.
It's nice that you got that back.
I actually think I got the pliers when we cleaned out my mother's stuff. I think it was in her toolbox. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they were gray.
For the life of me,
yeah,
I don't remember anything else other than the saw, but those things have been gone for way longer. So that's what's in the box. Speaking of tools, Todd, I had a question. How is your Husky tool workbench working out for you?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've looked at that. I'm like, I saw that I was looking on something else online, and I'm like, that may actually be the perfect sort of rolling thing to put I have 2 3D printers, the normal one and the resin one, but there's a lot of crap that comes with all those.
I will tell you, the that one has a high bottom drawer that would be great for rolls of filament.
That's what I was looking at because
it's divided 60-40, and so you get large drawers on one side, and then, like I said, or you get longer drawers on one side and shorter on the other. But yeah, I've actually thought if I didn't use that for a workbench all the time, it's in my office. It's actually in my office. I would put the 3D printers on it and actually use them. But so I have 2 3D printers in my office. I still have not set up.
Yeah, because I sort of, especially the resin one. The resin one, I move into the workshop. I don't want to leave it in there because if I'm doing stuff with wood, there's dust, so I take it out. And then there's a lot with the resin. You need brushes, and you need water buckets, and you need little spatulas and filters, and that would maybe good. It's funny because when you had told us it was on sale, it's not on sale, but I'm sure it will go back on sale again. Yeah. So
I can say the one I've got is the smaller one, and then we have bigger ones out in our shop. I think the size of this thing is perfect for something like that.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, because it's like something by 18, 40 by 18.
Yeah. Where would you put that, Dave? Would you just keep it rolling so you could move it in and out of the shop, or would you give it a home somewhere?
I'd probably keep it outside the shop and then maybe roll it in. See, that's what with the laser cutter, I have that on wheels, so I try not to cut, and I try not to leave that in the shop if I'm doing sanding or wood-based stuff. So it'd be good to have. That would actually make a perfect, well, maybe not, but it'd make a good laser cutter stand.
It would be, and it's got the power strip built into the side. It's got USB slots in there. I love the thing. It's great. It wasn't what I was expecting when I asked for a cabinet / countertop, but it's been great. So it's worked out really, really well.
Because also with the resin, you need a little UV curing station. They sell them. I basically went online. I bought a UV light and then one of those little light activated turntables and made a foam core box.
Nice.
And just did that. I mean, it cost like $9 to put it together, but that needs to go someplace too.
One of the things I really like about this is it's got, it's 60-40 except for the top drawer, which runs the whole width of it.
Wow.
And so the top drawer is basically whatever I'm working on. I just use that. Everything if it's a computer that's in pieces or a bunch of whatever, I just use that drawer to get everything off the top, and then I can work on the top again. So it's been great. I plan on nothing being in that drawer other than stuff I want to put out get out of the way.
That's a good idea.
And it's worked out really well in that way. I like it a lot.
Cool.
So I had texted you guys pictures. I've done a lot of model painting at this desk right here. And in all the years I've been doing that, I've never had a major accident spilling anything until yesterday when I had a jar of Tamiya clear red paint, which is very I guess it's like a thick clear liquid almost. and I was using pliers because the top had been kind of tight, so I was using pliers to get the top open, and then I had twisted it, and I thought it was like maybe like one twist so that it was still sealed, and then I went to shake it, and it went all over the place. Thank God it didn't get on my computer or anything. It got on, and I had my keyboard, which is normally like right down here. I had this pushed away so that I had an open work area. I have a big mouse pad here, like a very large gaming mouse pad that looks like the scene of a murder. And thankfully, anything that went anywhere else landed on me. So I destroyed a pair of jeans because this stuff will not come out of it. But it didn't get on the floor.
Jeans.
Yeah, exactly. But didn't get on the floor. Didn't get on anything that wasn't like expendable. But it literally looked like, and it was all over me. And that stuff, like even with like paint remover, didn't come off my hands right away. So it looked like a murder scene in here yesterday. All because and the things that I was painting, like tiny with that. I was like, it was ridiculous how small of a piece, two little pieces I was trying to paint. So my first,
I'm sure every model maker has done that.
Yeah, and the fact that it took me this long, I guess I really can't complain too much. Yeah. But I went back to a project that I started probably 5 years ago and got frustrated with and put away, and now I'm trying to go back to it and see if I can get it finished. So more to come on that.
Yeah, I was once painting a ceiling in my old apartment at school. I was painting a ceiling on a ladder in a narrow hallway, and the paint bucket fell, bounced off the railing, and rolled the entire length of a carpeted hallway.
Oh, that's brutal.
It just had just enough paint in it that it just got, the weight of it just kept it, and it just kept rolling, and it was just like I had this like 4-inch wide strip the entire hallway. So,
I once I don't know how it dropped it, but I had a gallon of paint, and I was holding it up, and it must have slipped, so it fell to where, like, I'm standing at a sort of a workbench kind of area. It wasn't in my house, and it fell this way and hit the side, and like exploded open all over me. Like, I literally had a whole gallon of paint on me. That was brutal.
Wow.
I saw at a job I had in it was a warehouse. I saw a ceiling painter knock a 5-gallon pail of ceiling white off. He was using a spray thing, and he knocked it off. And he hadn't even put the spigot in it yet, and it fell off. It dropped like 12 feet, and this thing burst like a water balloon. It was a plastic bucket, and it just was like the bottom just blew apart. And it was like a 45-foot circle that was like all white, and he had to walk through it to start hosing it up. I was like, yeah.
This thing I'm working on, for most of these like sci-fi model kits, there's a lot of reference, and there's reference on this thing. But what's really annoying me is that it looks so different in every freaking picture. Like, the colors are vastly different from reference photo to reference photo, and it's not even like, oh, this one's with lighting, this one's without lighting. It's like they're all lit. It just looks different in every one. So we'll see how it comes out. That'll be a future what's on my workbench. I'm basically taking it back to square one and starting over is what I'm doing with it.
Oh boy,
you've done that before though.
I have, but
what was the Enterprise the thing that you painted and repainted the most?
Yeah. But this one I had done quite a bit of detailing work already. You know what the thing is? I've gotten so much better at these techniques, and I didn't have an airbrush back then. So I when I pulled this thing out of storage, and I'm like, I think it's been about 5 years since I touched it. When I looked at it, I'm like, oh, I know I could do better than this now. So I basically reprimed the whole thing, and I'm starting over. So.
Can
we talk a little bit about the auction that will be too late for our listeners to bid on?
I got outbid already.
Did you?
Oh, did you get the response from the person you reached out to to ask about the authenticity of it?
They said, looks similar.
Okay.
I'm going to take a look at it in the morning and see where it goes. I just want to sort of test the waters to see, like, what's the story. But anyway, yeah, go ahead. There's a Heritage Star Trek auction.
There's a Heritage Star Trek auction. Not large. I mean, there's a number of things, but it's
75
significant.
lots.
It's
Yeah.
it is significant. What did you guys both look through this, right?
Yes,
Yep.
and I have the app on my phone, so I'm
what
going
is
to
going to
pull
get
it
the
back
most
up.
money?
Oh, I didn't.
Well,
look
there's
at it.
stuff in there that hasn't even gotten bids on it yet, and the auction ends
But that's what I'm
in
saying. But looking at
14
it right now,
hours.
it's going to go off tomorrow. What's your prediction? Because I have one.
I actually just looked at the stuff I could actually afford. I didn't. I mean, I looked through everything, but I didn't pay too much attention
It's
to it.
surprising to me that the Captain Kirk season 1 shirt and pants doesn't even have a bid on it yet, but the opening bid is $40,000. So,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's exactly why.
Yep.
and then you look at the female duty officer from season 1, and it looks like the collar is completely stretched out, unless they're supposed to be that wide.
Oh, they are supposed to be that wide. Yeah.
I like the Yeoman Rand costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
There's a lot of stuff not hitting the opening bid, but they're still. I mean, they're not high for
current
what's
prices,
going on in
yeah.
the world, but they're, I mean, I'm not saying I know anything, but is everything really authentic? If this is nothing is hitting opening bids,
There's
I
an
gotta say,
awful lot of
I like
stuff
being
in
able
here
to see
that's-
pictures of labels and stuff like that. That's cool. If you look at if you go in the details, they show you pictures of the labels, and
But there's a
It's
lot
a
of
lot
stuff
of
in here
costumes.
that seem like they're fairly significant. Like there's original Klingon costumes, original Romulan costumes. Like it's almost like somebody. This has got to be somebody's collection, right? Like somebody's been collecting
this has got to be a
stuff.
collection, and that's so. My thing that I think is going to go for the most here. I think is,
I know what you're gonna say.
what you know what I'm going to say. What am I going to say?
I think I'm Mirror Spock.
Mirror Spock, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think that will go for the most.
Well, that one's actually at least already got a bid on it, unlike Mirror Kirk, which doesn't even have a bid on it yet.
Which I think will sell.
worry of it.
I think it'll sell, but it's not going to sell for as much.
I don't know. I mean, no offense. I don't know anything. Is profiles in history? I mean, even on the show, people have said maybe some stuff wasn't what it's supposed to be. I don't know anything. I'm just
Right. Yeah,
I don't know about
two,
them.
the mirror universe things, either you have them or you don't have them. And I think these are the reason I think these have to be authentic is somebody else. If they're not, somebody else owns them. It's not like a
Right. It's not like a Kirk tunic that they made 20
that
of.
We don't
Yeah.
know how many of those there are. Okay. We don't know how many Romulan uniforms or Klingon uniforms there are. But these are definitely one-offs. And the same thing with like Finnegan's jersey, which I don't think is worth that.
That's cool though.
It is cool.
That's just a memorable
And
episode.
that's what I'm saying. It's iconic. It's the only one of its kind. Likewise, I think like the dueling pistols were kind of cool, though that's unexplained what it is kind of thing.
Yeah.
And boy, that the sweatshirt from Bread and Circuses really is a sweatshirt with the sleeves and the waist
With a
cut.
couple of little rings at the top.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's pretty memorable though.
It is
if you're a
memorable, but I'm
fan.
saying when you look at the still pictures, it's like they just cut it with a pair of scissors.
What do you think about like the landing party set that's a replica? Like it's already up
makes
to
no
almost
sense.
$2,000. Like
Makes no sense.
I don't get
yeah,
that.
but people sell freaking a wand set would sell a wand company set would sell for $2,500.
It just doesn't make sense why it's here. What's interesting is the communicator from Trials and Tribulations is at a current bid of $16,500.
Yeah. I thought
That's
that
a-
was
that's-
interesting.
Basically a replica.
But it
it's
was a replica that was used
a replica
used
that
in a
was
screen used in a memorable
Yeah,
episode.
no, I know,
Yeah.
but HMS I guess made it. Isn't that the dudes that someone knows?
Yeah. The one that got me was the Klingon disruptor from Star Trek Phase 2,
Yeah.
never actually used, is $2,500, and then the Klingon disruptor from Star Trek 3, actually used, is $2,000.
But it's missing pieces, I think.
Is that right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think the one from Star Trek 3 is missing pieces.
Okay.
There's nothing really.
The thing that, I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Okay, nothing. I'm just
I was going to say the thing that I liked was the poster sets with the 3 posters that were signed, but there's no Nimoy on them. Those are kind of cool, and they'd be neat to frame and have all those pictures. But to have those I
wonder who are these from. Just reading. They're not for a ton of money, going for a ton of money.
No, that's what I'm saying. But like I said, if they had,
but you could basically
they've
put
gone
these
up
together.
About $250 since this afternoon. So,
I know you mentioned it in our text earlier today, but the model of the K7 space station is pretty amazing too.
It is very cool,
and that's from Trials and Tribulations as well.
And that I expect is going to go.
That's already up to $20,000.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
$25,000 with the buyer's premium. So,
I will say that's probably nicer than the original, if the original still exists.
It's bigger, I think, too. It sounds like this thing's pretty big. It's like 60 inches by 48 inches.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't get that.
Is it that big?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what it says in the description.
Make something that big.
It's made of fiberglass, it says, too.
For one shot, basically. Like a couple.
60-inch diameter, 48 inches tall, and is mounted on an original steel armature with sprocket ring. Blah, blah, blah.
That's huge.
Upper cone is marked K7.
I'm going to see if I can cancel my $20,000 bid. I don't know where I would put that.
Yeah, it is big.
Yeah.
Constructed of fiberglass resin plastic with steel stub structure. Yeah, it looks pretty awesome.
Yeah,
there's some cool stuff here.
There is, yeah. But again, we'll check back. I think, like I said, I think the Spock tunic is crazy iconic, and I think that's. I'm surprised that the pilot tunic was starting at $6,000. It's got no insignia. It has no one attached to it. It's basically a velour shirt, but it's pretty
recognizable, though. I mean,
so how are those patches attached that there's no trace of the patch having been on there?
That's why I feel like it's an unused one.
Yeah, because you can zoom right in that. It's very high res. You can zoom right in there. There's not even a shadow of. You can't even see I don't know.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong too. It just feels like the audience for original series Trek stuff at that high of a price is getting smaller and smaller. But maybe not.
Maybe. I also think that what is really a shame is that the number one tunic from the pilot is changed. They changed the collar and reused it. That's very iconic.
What did they reuse it on?
What's that?
They reused it on something
They
else?
reused it in the second pilot. For somebody else, and so they sewed a new collar on it. So. But that's too bad.
Just seems like maybe this is the type of thing that Jeff Bezos just sweeps in and just buys all of it.
Yeah.
We know he's got a Star Trek collection.
Interesting. Yeah, cool stuff. Well, it ends tomorrow, so I just came across it. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I have their app. I'm registered with them, but I didn't even remember seeing emails about it. Maybe I did.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw one today, so.
Proving once
anyone
again.
Listening, if you buy the Spock ears, definitely get in touch with our friend Tom Spina, because those are.
They need preservation.
They need
preservation badly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. Or if you want to buy anything and display something, he'll build you a display.
That's right. Yep. Barry,
Cool.
You want to give the contact information?
Sure. Go to regalrobot.com or tomspinadesigns.com. And they're all over social media. They're almost hard to miss on social media. So
yeah, totally check them out. They're definitely any auction stuff.
And Tom's a good dude. We like Tom.
Yes,
absolutely. Okie dokie. Any last thoughts?
Does anybody else have a last thought? Because I do, but I'm going to bring you down a little bit. So I just figured if we had anything else before I do that. We good, Todd?
I don't know.
Okay. One of my oldest friends' mom passed away yesterday. You go through life with a lot of friends, and some of them, you get to know their families, some of them you don't. In this case, my friend Joe's mom, Josephine, I've known for 35 years. She was like a second grandmother to my kids in a lot of ways, so very sorry. She was 92, so it's not like she, wasn't, getting older or whatever. But anyway, just thought I would just...
It's always hard.
Kind of dedicate the show to Josephine Ficarra. Great woman, and she will be missed. So,
well said.
Sorry to end on a sad note, but
no, that's okay. We celebrate her life.
Yes.
92 years is a good
yeah, she had a good run. She, and she lived with Joe and his family for the last 25 years, maybe, or maybe a little less than that. But so, I got to see her in some ways more than I've seen members of my own family, because anytime I was over there, she was there. So,
yeah,
good woman. Anyway,
well said. Next week,
we'll have a show.
We'll have a show. Unlike this week, where we really didn't have a show. But it's all good. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.